welcome to another episode on the MyFragranceJourneySA channel. In this video, I'll be going through 5 fragrances that I think are definitely not beginner friendly. So in the previous video, I took you through 6 that I recommend as good collection starters if you want to go into, the fragrance collecting game. These ones can be deceiving, because the pricing is sometimes very attractive. So if you're quite new and you just want to get your collection going, you might be a bit, hasty to go in there and buy some of these fragrances. But, for me, the advice is these are definite no-no. Some of these in this day and age are a bit unwearable, I would say. So these are classic fragrances. They represent old school perfumery, essentially, 70s, 80s scents, that was sort of trailblazers for most of the fragrances we have today. Like I said, the pricing may look good, and make, suck you in. Some of the scents are a bit overwhelming and aggressive, but they are scents of their time, essentially. So yeah, just to get straight into the list, at number 5, this is another one I've always seen at the department stores for as long as I can remember. It smells soapy and flowery, and it's just an old school throwback fragrance. It's Tabac original eau de cologne. So it's one of those, and most of these, I must mention, their note breakdowns are packed, so most of them are aromatics and, very much in the aromatic space, lots of herbs and, a whole lot of spices. It's just, they're loaded, if you look them up online, for example, you can go to ifragrance.com, which is a site that I use to reference a lot. You'll see the note breakdowns. For example, this, top notes: petitgreen, bergamot, neroli, pepper, and lemon, just at the top. Then the mid: chamomile, lavender, geranium, and oak, right? And the base: carnation, sandalwood, musk, vetiver, and amber. So most of these are very, very packed. And like I said, approach with caution. This one's soapy and flowery, relaunched in 1914, but essentially this is a cologne from 1959. So the first iteration of this came out in 1959. So yeah, at number 5, Tabac original. At number 4, this is a fragrance that sort of redefined what men's perfumery is all about. This is the original Joop Homme. This is the original sweet, your bubblegummy type of fragrance, from 1989. So, some of it smells a bit like cough syrup. It's unapologetically sweet, like I said, and it's an Amber Fougere from 1989. So it's just one of those. This set the tone for a whole lot of other fragrances that were released in the 90s and 2000s or so, and even some today. This was the original sweet beast, essentially. Notes here, like I always say, is also packed: orange blossom, mandarin orange, bergamot, amalfi, lemon. So lots of citruses at the top, and then the mid there you've got the cinnamon, heliotrope, jasmine, cardamom, lily of the valley, and then you've got vanilla, tonka bean, sandalwood, patchouli, honey, tobacco, vetiver. So you can just imagine what it smells like. In this day and age, it can smell a bit like a hot mess, sort of say, as the younger folks would say. It smells like a hot mess. The newer Le Parfum is much better, more modern take on this, and I would recommend that. At number 3, this is one that is on this list, and I've got a lot of respect for it though. This is for when you know your story. You know, when you know you're out of all of this, this is what I would advise you to get once you've gotten into this game, and you've messed around with a couple of fragrances. Then Encre Noire is the thing for you. There's Encre Noire Sport, Encre Noire à l'Extreme. So I've got the Sport and the à l'Extreme, and I would say, you know what, as a starter to fragrances, this might be, if it's your first or second, you know, that you're trying to build a collection with, this might be a bit of a shock to the system. It's high quality, but it's not a very common type of fragrance blend, so to say. So it's very dry, it's smoky, it's woody, very mysterious. So not something for beginners. So top notes here. Just one, cypress, the mid is vetiver, then you've got cashmere, wood, and musk in the base. So very simple, but you know, this is a banger, but not for beginners. Right? At number 3, Encre Noire from the House of Lalique. And then another fragrance for the ages. This is Draca Noir. So this is a fragrance that I recently, it just occurred to me when I got an English Blazer that English Blazer is essentially a bit of a clone of Drakkar Noir. So there's a recent 2022 release of Drakkar Noir, Drakkar Intense, which is a more modern take on this DNA fragrance. This is one for the history books, for the Hall of Fame, and aromatic fougere. This is like the classic manly scent of the 80s, released in 1982. This is it, you know. This will smell like remind you of your father, your uncle, or your elders would have probably gone past this at some point. The note breakdown, another jam-packed one, just in the mid, for example, juniper, coriander, carnation, wormwood, angelica, and jasmine, for example. So it's another aromatic fougere here. One for, the history book, a classic, but not for beginners. You know, this will give you a punch in the nose if you're not careful, but it's something to be appreciated. But as a starter to the beginner, to the fragrance collection game, I highly advise against it. At number 2, Draca Noir. And at number 1, this is a scent. At first, before I blind bought it, and I was not really sure what it it was all about, until it just also punched me in the nose, and it just smelled so old. And yeah, another aromatic fougere from the house of Azzaro, Azara Paul. So this is another one of those, jam-packed, very throwback, very old school. There's much more recent flankers of this that I would advise you to consider. But this one here, the price can be deceiving, and if you don't know what you're doing, you'll jump in and it will just punch you back in the nose. So top notes here are lavender, lemon, caraway, basil, bergamot, clary sage, iris, and star anise, just at the top. So you can just imagine how much of an aromatic blend is going on here. So the base, oak moss, leather, amber, musk, and tonka bean. And then in the mid, you've got the vetiver, sandalwood, patchouli, cedar, juniper berries, and cardamom. So it's one of those jam-packed aromatic fougere, first released in 1978. So it's one of those very much throwback scents of the late 70s and most of the 80s, and it's still going strong right now. So yeah, with that said, these are my top 5 for my collection that I would say, as a beginner, approach with caution, or do not approach at all. The prices may look good, but the scent may be a bit outdated, and not really suitable for someone who's new to fragrances, so to say. But later on, as collectors, must-haves in your perfume collection, I would definitely recommend some of these, but not as a starter. Well, with that said, please like and subscribe. Till next time, and don't forget to leave your comments down below, and any recommendations for future videos. Till next time, peace.